everybody, welcome to episode 41 of the Brownie Knits podcast. I'm your host Gina, aka Brownie Knits. This is my little sidekick, Kennedy, aka Kiki, and I thought I'd get her in here for just a little bit. I know it's been a little bit since I podcasted, and I apologize for that. I'll explain it here in a moment. But I have a few things to share with you today, and I hope that you guys are enjoying some knitting and crochet time, some crafting time wherever you are, and whatever season you're in. I'm out in my backyard because it's all greened up here where I live, and I've been doing a lot of gardening type stuff. I'm kind of a one and done gardener. I like to put in the plants in the springtime and then just really low maintenance stuff from there on out. And then in the fall, I'll put in some bulbs and stuff, and so that the beginning of spring is colorful. So I'm not big into it, but I do enjoy like my house plants and then the outside potted plants that I do and things like that. So I've been doing quite a bit of that. So I'll throw up some photos here of my back porch area. My husband built like a little deck on the back of our house a few years ago, and I like to sit out here and do my work when it's not raining, which it's been raining absolutely tons. It's been kind of insane lately, but it's a really nice area to sit and design and test projects and things like that. And then I did a little updating to our front porch chairs with some spray paint because I was going to get rid of the chairs and replace them, and I thought I could just spray paint them and they'll have a whole new life. So upcycled those a little bit. So other than gardening, I have sort of lost my knitting mojo for a little bit here. I've done a few things, but I've been way more drawn to other projects for the moment. I've still been doing a fair amount of test knitting and design. So I am still knitting. It's just some of that. It's not really my enjoyment at the very moment. And I don't know if this happens to you guys or not, but I definitely have cycles throughout the year, and they're usually pretty short for me. They're usually just like a couple weeks where I feel like I'd rather do some other crafting than knitting. So in addition to the gardening that I spent quite a few days doing, I also did a few paper projects, and I did these banners that I'll put up photos of here, and they were so much fun. It was like a little booklet kit that I got at Joann Fabrics, and so some of them are burlap pendants and some of them are paper, and then you cut everything out and then you hot glue everything together, and you need to be aware of the hot glue gun. Had an incident that day, and then it comes with everything except for the hot glue, the glue gun obviously, and then it does not come with the twine. So I added some twine that I already had, some jute actually, to hang them up. So I just wanted to freshen up the inside of the house too, along with all the stuff that we were doing outside, so that summer was like nice and festive. So that was a fun little project to do. So I did 2 buntings, and then I also worked on this project, this felted wool project that I'm going to show you. And this was something that I showed in the last podcast that I got as a kit at the Greencastle Fiber event, and it was all this felted wool to make a sunflower hanging. And so I bought one more fabric than what you see here. So this backing, the green stem fabric, the plaid petal fabric, and then the inside fabric. And I had a pinkish one that I had intended to intersperse as some other petals, but I didn't like how it was looking. So instead of doing that, I just stuck with one fabric for the petal. And I just did it with rug hooking. So I did the stem first, and then the center of the sunflower, and then I went in and cut out the petals, and then took the rug hook and just pulled those through to the back a little bit. And then I thought, how do I want to hang it? And I really wanted to frame it, but I wanted it to remain three-dimensional. So I happened to have this frame upstairs, and I just took the glass out of it and popped it in and just kind of pulled it taut around the back of the backing frame. And then I thought it turned out so cute. It was designed by Bev Stewart, and her company is Whispering Pines Designs, and it was really a lot of fun to do. So one wool project done there. It's so much fun. Even though it's kind of more fallish, I went ahead and hung it up because, I don't know, I just finished it and I thought it was cute, so I hung it up. So that was one wool project that I have finished, in addition to the paper and the gardening. And then the other one that I finished up is the Monsoon stole, and that is designed by Little Bee. She's Little Bee NZ on Instagram. And this was a project that I originally, last year when I bought some of the yarn that I ended up using for it, I was going to make this as a gift for someone, and then I never got around to it. You know how that goes. Happens all the time, right? So I ended up thinking, well, I'm just going to do it now. Like, I just felt like crocheting, and I wanted to crochet on something other than my scrap yarn. So I went and grabbed a bunch of different yarns from my shelf, some that I bought specifically for the Monsoon stole but had in stash before the beginning of the year, and then some that were leftovers or something that just coordinated that I had in stash. And I'm not sure, like, I probably am not going to keep it. I think it's going to be a gift for somebody, but I'm not sure who yet. There are a few people in my life that it reminds me of. But in this long section, which is where you start, and it is paid for pattern, you're supposed to use the same yarn from here to here where my hands are. And I didn't have enough yardage of any one yarn to do that, so I just went until I ran out of that skein, went until I ran out of this skein, and then went until where you're supposed to for the first part of the pattern. And then you do these little dot rows, which were a lot of fun to do, and I really enjoyed that part. And then you go in and do the shells, and then these triple crochet links. And the pattern is written using US crochet terms. And then you have this more lattice work open shell pattern. And then here I deviated a little bit. I got up in here and I was like, I feel like doing my own thing. So from here to, I think here, I kind of just did whatever I felt like. So I pretty much just incorporated things that were already down in the rest of the Monsoon stole and just did a few things however I felt like doing it. There might have been pieces in here where I picked up the rows as she had written and did them, but I kind of interspersed it with what I felt like doing at the moment. And then I think I followed the pattern from this section to here, but I didn't do the very end. Like, there's a whole nother like lace area for down here, and I just left it with these because I kind of liked the simplicity of that, and it was definitely long enough to go ahead and do that. So there, you can kind of see it on a little bit, and I thought it turned out pretty cute. And I used up a lot of stash yarn doing it, so it does qualify for my 2016 stash down. I think I used, let's see, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I used 7 different skeins. All 7 of the skeins I had were about 170 yards each. I didn't use 100% of them all, but I used almost all of them, and what I didn't use up, I used to make squares for my scrap yarn. So that's a really, really great stash busting project, and you can kind of have fun putting together different colors and yarn schemes for it. Some of my favorites though actually only use like a couple different colors, so there are quite a few of them made if you go and look at the project page in Ravelry for the design pattern. And it was just really a lot of fun to do. Most of the yarns that I used were Claudia hand paints, and then a couple were Koigu. This one was a Knit Picks yarn, and yeah, I think that was everything. So, oh, there was this lovely, this was like leftover Dream in Color that I had from when I made my Across the Pond shawl. So I couldn't let that go to waste. So I used up the rest of that here. So anyway, that will become a gift for someone down the line. Not sure who just yet. So those are all of my finished items that I have. I did also work on a few design things and then test knitter things, but I'm not going to show those here. And then the only new things that I've started are also not knitting, but they are wool related. So for Christmas, my husband picked up this little Wool Buddy kit, needle felting kit. We have a little toy store here that we like to go and shop at for our niece and our nephews. And sometimes they have like things that adults would like. We found the game Tinsy there, and we really love playing Tinsy. So we always like look in their game section to see if there's anything we want. But I was kind of a little shocked, honestly, to see that there was a needle felting kit at the toy store. It says for 8 and up. There is no way I would trust any 8-year-old that I know to needle felt and not put the needle through their finger, because it does not give you like a pad to felt into. And it's just like a loose needle, so you're just holding it and felting it. But it has everything you need to make this little giraffe. So he's about half done. You do the inside neutral color first to get him shaped, and then you get to do all the fun stuff. So I'm just about done with the foundation and getting ready to start the fun stuff. So I should have like the little giraffe by the next time that I podcast, and he'll probably end up being a gift for one of my nephews or my niece at some point. Probably my niece, actually. So it's cute, I thought. And then the other thing that I've been working on that's a new project is a cross stitch project. I started working on, and I haven't decided just yet if I'm going to restart it, but I'm making this cute little summer sampler from Lizzie Kate. I absolutely adore Lizzie Kate cross stitch patterns. I just think they're really cute. Now, if you look at this summer one, it's on what they called light linen. It's a 28 count light linen. And so when I just glanced at, I didn't look at the front of it. Because I've had this for a while, I just looked at the requirements. I opened it and looked at the requirements before I went out, and it said light linen. So I wasn't thinking, and I bought like this really light linen, which you can see is quite a bit lighter than here. And it's kind of showing up a drastic difference. I feel like I can see the white in between the stitches more than I would like. Although here on screen it's not too bad, and that kind of simulates what you would see if it was hanging on the wall. So I might just keep going with it. Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll keep going with it now that I see it there. So, but note for my future self, look at the contrast of the color against there. And I like to use, I think it's because I'm a knitter, so I really love using, the nice yarns. And so when I cross stitch, I prefer to use sampler threads from the Gentle Art. So, and I'm very lucky. We have a quilting store that is not too far from my house. It's maybe a 10-minute drive. And one of the co-owners of the store loves to cross stitch. So they have such a great cross stitch selection. And then another small town that's maybe like a 20-25 minute drive from me has a cross stitch and embroidery store. So if I ever can't find anything at the one that's 10 minutes down the road, I can go to the other one. So pretty lucky, because I think it's more and more rare to be able to find like cross stitch shops. We used to have a really large one in Indianapolis and it closed down. So, but I really like the one that's only about 10 minutes away, and they stock a fair number of the Lizzie Kate designs, and then, you know, of course on the internet you can always find something and go from there. I'm partial to cross stitch when I get really stressed out, because I find that it calms me down. And knitting and crochet do, but I think because I do that every day, cross stitch kind of just takes me out of my normal zone and soothes me a little bit more. And it also reminds me of like a connection that I have with my aunts and my gram, because they love to cross stitch too. So, and I do like to cross stitch on linen, and I'm having to use my glasses more and more, which I don't like to admit, but it's true. Happens, right? That's what glasses are for. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing: cross stitching, gardening, making bunting, making the Monsoon stole and the sunflower. So all right, so we do have a couple of knit alongs going on in the group that I wanted to mention. We have the 2016 Stash Down, which is a year-long knit along and crochet along. You can go up to the Brownie Knits Ravelry group and read the thread for all the information there. And I will draw in June for our next giveaway prize. And then in, let's see, what's our other one? Oh, Brownie, we have the Brownies Sock knit along. So you can use the hashtag BrowniesSockKAL, and that goes through the end of May. You can make any socks that you want, and you'll be eligible to win our prize package. And you can go up and look at the thread as well on the Brownie Knits Ravelry board for that. And if you are so inclined, you can also use my new Brownies sock pattern. It's called Brownie's Sock Recipe, and you can get that for just $1. If you're in the European Union, you usually have VAT on top of that. But if you use the coupon code BrowniesSockKAL by May 31st of 2016, you can get it for $1. So I think that's everything. This is a pretty short podcast episode, but I did want to check in and just say hi and tell you a little bit about what was going on. So I hope that you guys are having fun and enjoying some relaxation as you head into a new season. I didn't do any knitspiration this time around, but I will save that for the next episode. So in the meantime, happy knitting, crocheting, cross stitching, whatever you want to choose to do. I hope you enjoy some crafting time. Bye bye.